Hey there. It is I, Senor Donut, and with me, as always, is Mr. Grant Patrizio.
Hello there.
Hello, dear viewer, dear listener. We don't usually open with such a cold and undramatic opening, but I feel with the topic that we're talking about today, we need to take it a little bit more serious of a tone with it.
Hmm.
Because today, we're talking about the worst bottom feeding scum that exists in geek culture today. But before we get to that, Grant, what have you been playing this time around?
I'm still kind of on my Pokemon kick. On stream, it's been mostly Pokopia doing a bunch of fun builds. And then off stream, and a little bit on stream, I suppose. I've been playing Pokemon Champions and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness for the first time. And I gotta tell you,
Ooh,
playing through two different core fundamental rule sets of Pokemon, and I don't just mean singles and doubles in terms of battling. I mean, what counts as a physical attack or a special attack levels of fundamental is it's a good brain workout. But that's really it for me. Um, what about you, Donut? What have you been playing?
well, I have also been playing Pokemon Champions. And I'm not like as competitive as say someone like you would be. I'm just a casual player
Yeah.
um, that has gone up to Pokeball level rank tier number one.
Ooh,
I
swanky.
have no idea what's above that rank at all, but I'm sure you do.
Well, just look at it like you look at your standard issue list of Pokeballs. Pokeball is the, standard catch rate. Great Ball is the one after that. Ultra is the one after that. I'm sure there's a Master Ball tier, and then there's something oft talked about by the highest level players, which are mere illusions to the likes of us not very competitive types, the Champions tier, which is where the highest of the high level go to duke it out for actual spots in actual championships based on their rank, supposedly. Um, all we know is that Champions is going to be the game that Pokemon uses for tournaments going forward, instead of just having players bring their like RPG games to tournaments. It's all going to be done in Champions now.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. I I didn't even know that they had like actual Pokemon tournaments. Like I thought it was
Oh
just
yeah.
the
Oh
trading
yeah.
card game.
At the Pokemon World Championships, there's trading card game, there's Pokemon Go, there's
How
the
do you
double.
make Pokemon Go a competitive game?
There are elements which you can battle other trainers in Pokemon Go.
Oh, I
Yep,
I didn't know that. I thought it was just capturing and raiding or something.
it's captures, it's raids, it's Team Rocket's plot in the real world slash through the game, and battling other people.
Man, I haven't played that game in so long that they've added so many new things and mechanics to it.
Yeah. I dabble into the game every once in a while, but there are still so many things I miss that when I decide to turn on the game, it looks like a whole new game, and I'm like, when the heck did all of this happen?
Yeah. Wow. Maybe I should hop back into it and see what's up with it. It's been a long time.
Go for a little walk with the mini donut. Have him catch some Pokemon.
That you know what? That sounds like a good idea. I think he might like that. 'Cause he enjoys the, Pikmin Go, game that they have out there, and that game is very different.
Made by the same people, though, I think.
I believe so, yeah. Niantic is the,
Yeah.
company that helped produce that game. Um, but yeah, I've been just kinda playing off stream a lot. I haven't done too much on stream besides the standard, games that I play. I did I did play some retro games from the NSO on my last stream and found out that I really suck at Super Punch Out now that I'm older.
No.
Um, and also, really suck at, Kirby's, Superstar Ultra, um, and found out that I haven't really beaten it ever. I've played it,
Hmm.
but I've never beaten it. And then I found out that I've never really played Super Metroid either. Like,
Aw, dude.
so I've the NSO has been a great way to kinda play games that I never had a chance to play because A, I couldn't afford them when I was a kid, and, B, parents wouldn't buy them either, so I'm playing these games that I've never played before and having a ball playing them, and because I get to rewind them when I F up, I can, come back to it and, not lose, um,
It makes them
but
more
in a way
approachable.
it does, but it feels like cheating, like, I have my inner child screaming at me, "Come on, old man, get better, get good. What are you doing rewinding?" You know? Um,
But then you have to tell that inner child, this is what people your age would be doing today because they have the option, and sadly you didn't.
yeah,
So
right?
it's one of those internal conflicts where it's like, does my gamer pride win out, or do I
Mhm.
allow myself to experience the thing as an adult using adult era conveniences? And I have found, unless it is Sonic or Kingdom Hearts, I allow myself the conveniences.
Do you think every game should have that convenience baked into it?
I mean, this could be another topic for another day. We've got a much more sinister topic ahead for today. Um, but as far as briefly adjusting or addressing that, if it makes sense for the game's design, any measure of accessibility or convenience that can be added, it would be nice to have. But there are some games that might not warrant the design choice. And if they
Mhm.
don't warrant the design choice, then maybe not. It might just be a get goodish situation.
You just kinda brought up the thing that I was thinking about, accessibility. Like, not all games have great accessibility options. Some have amazing ones, and these accessibility options are so that all gamers can partake of this game and enjoy it the way that it was meant to be enjoyed, right? Whether you have, hearing impairment or visual impairment or motor skill impairment or whatever, these accessibility features are there for all players so that they can play a game in the way that it
Right,
was intended to be played, or in a modified way that would allow you to enjoy the game and its subsequent story.
right.
Do you think that a rewind feature would be a kind of accessibility feature for those that cannot get good, as you so said?
I believe so. I believe so.
Okay.
And it's for the reason you said, to be able to enjoy the game as originally intended, to be able to give yourself either another chance to redo in the moment, or by factoring in something that we happen to have talked about on our last episode. Go watch that if you haven't already. um Save states, being
Great
able
plug.
to being able to just put yourself in, like, save the game right before the troublesome area, just to be like, "Oh, right, I had trouble with this. Let me recalibrate why I had trouble." Or now that I've had a break from it, maybe I can solve the problem. Maybe I can beat the boss.
Mhm,
Instead of
mhm,
having to take the entire dungeon over again or the entire stage over again, to,
mhm,
not put yourself through that level of extra potential frustration if you manage to get there.
mhm,
And this is why I say, with the exceptions of Sonic and Kingdom Hearts, I would appreciate those features. For me, learning the gameplay loop is part of the fun of Sonic and Kingdom Hearts. So I don't necessarily mind learning the gameplay loop of those games, thus having to restart a boss or play through a couple of zones to get to the final boss again, because I get to learn the gameplay loop and that part's fun. If that's not fun for you, then yeah, having the rewind, having the save states to get you to enjoy the story or more power ups or things like that, I think, when able to be implemented, can and should be from an accessibility angle, But
Mhm.
I do also understand where developers are coming from, where it's like, hey, not necessarily wanting to go that far for the sake of feeling like the story may be cheapened somehow. So it's something for the developers to toy with, but the more players on your game, the better. And if you can make it more
I
accessible,
agree.
if you can make it more accessible without detracting from the core function and purpose, that's do that. Yes.
I think it should be baked into every game, honestly. Like, every game should have the option for it. So
Right.
that way, people that need it can have it there. And like you said, the frustration, the level of stress that it would put on someone's heart that maybe has a weak heart and can't deal with stress or whatever, I think it would be a fantastic addition to any game as an option.
Yes.
And I think that, the stigmata behind it should be, taken away. Because as streamers, I'm sure we get trolls in our chat or whatever that, say, "Oh, you need to get good," or whatever, or, "Oh, you're cheating by rewinding it," or whatever. And it's like, I mean, no, I'm trying to enjoy this game and I'm trying to beat it. And does that cheapen the experience for, myself? I mean, maybe, but I'm enjoying this game a lot more because of it, you know?
Yeah,
So
I hear you.
I I think it should be there. I think it should be caked into baked into every cake, as they say. Um, but that's not what we're
First time I've heard it about games, but yeah,
that's not what we're talking
you're a
about today.
donut, so baking into cakes makes more sense for you.
Yes, even though we fry our donuts. But that being said, um, we are not talking about things like that today. What we're talking about today is what some would consider a blight on, geekdom. What some would consider a cancer, to, just being a fan of something in general, whether it's a sporting event, a concert, um, shoes,
Or
comic
even
books.
or even packs of shiny, tiny cardboard pieces of paper. Something you and I are both very familiar with.
So, what are we talking about today, Grant? We're talking about scalpers.
Bum bum bum.
Very nice.
Thank you.
So, scalpers um, have been around since, sporting events sold out in the past. That's how they started out. They would be outside of a venue going, "Hey, I got these tickets, I'll give you these tickets for a lower price, than you would get them on inside," uh, and they would be fake tickets or whatever. And
Yep.
then they started, actually buying legit tickets, but because the tickets were in such high demand, you would buy these tickets at a much higher price, than you would have if you had acted on it sooner or been able to get them in the first place. It used to be a physical thing where somebody would have to go and buy a product physically or a ticket physically, and then they would resell it physically somewhere. But
Yep.
as time evolved and marched forward and we got the use of the internet, this turned into an online thing where somebody would buy up as much of a product that was in high demand as possible and try to flip it so that they can make money off of some poor bloke, uh, or whoever managed to buy a product at a much higher rate than they would have. Um, Both you and I have, seen the effects of it on
Oh
the
yeah.
prices of stuff, because like you said, we're both into, those shiny cardboard, thin pieces of cardboard that are out there on the market. But because, I mean, myself, I am more into the, Disney TCG Lorcana than, into Pokemon or Magic the Gathering. These, have been seen more in that field, and now that, the One Piece trading card game is a thing, that is also, being bought up by scalpers, in order to flip them and make a profit. Now, you can look at it in one of two ways. You can be like, well, this person is making money. They're trying to feed their families or whatever by using this shady ass tactic, you know, because nowadays it's shady because it's not done in person. Everything is purchased online
Mhm.
through the use of bots in order to get as many or as much of a product as possible so that they can sell it at whatever price that they wanted to sell it at. Um,
Ugh.
have you personally been affected by anything like that, Grant?
To my knowledge, thankfully, no. But that is simply because, and to, to elaborate on your point a little bit, scalpers do also try to get their product or their inventory in person,
They
depending on
do.
the product or the launch. And I say this in terms of like, um, new booster set releases for Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, sometimes for video games or certain I think there was a midnight drop for a Sonic related something that I got myself in on. Um Actually, no, wait. I haven't. I didn't do this. I was almost faced with this, but I didn't do
Ooh.
this because my chosen sister Sam, shout outs to you, sis, was able to get in line with somebody and make sure that I got a set of the secret drop Sonic the Hedgehog Magic the Gathering character cards.
Ooh.
If I had not gotten Sam to get me a set while in that line, if I really wanted those cards, I would probably be paying scalper prices right now because they would have used the bots to buy up all the cards and then resell them for inflated prices. Even to the point where reputable sites like TCG Player would have to use the inflated prices if the scalper storefronts are linked with them and they somehow don't know it and all that stuff. I don't know
Mhm.
the back ends very much because all I know is if I see a thing that fits my vibe, brand, aesthetic, it hits the inner nostalgia or inner child, and if I can find it then and there, I usually just grab it.
Mhm.
And for me, like doing a lot of the getting stuff on the like having to go to things on the day and wait in website queues is more for like uh in physical experiences, more like the concert tickets or
Mhm.
Disneyland Pride Night, that sort of thing. It's an
Mhm.
event
Mhm.
with an item that I can't necessarily replicate for more the experience than the physical thing. The
That
Sonic the
makes
Magic
sense.
the Sonic the Magic the Gathering card story was the closest one I had, but then Sam revealed she was doing it for me. She got in line first, got the set, and I'm like, "Gorsh, thanks, sis." And that's pretty much where it ended.
I've never heard of it happening for a video game. But I'm sure that there has been, times for that. Um, I more remember it with video game consoles, like
Yeah,
the launch of the, PS4, PS5, the Switch
PS5.
2.
Oh god, PS5 and Switch 2 were definitely heavy on scalpers.
Yeah, it was,
Definitely.
so much to the point that, regular people like yourself, myself, had a very difficult time finding the console at the, MSRP. Right? We had to buy, consoles at higher prices or whatever because of that. Thankfully, myself and yourself, we bought our stuff, without having to go through that.
Yeah,
Um, but it was big. It was in the news and everything. There are even more things that have been in the news, even more so recently. The scalpers that I want to focus on today specifically, uh, are the card scalpers, because there
mm,
are scalpers for, any and everything. Like I said, sports events, concert tickets, um,
game consoles, we just
shoes,
brought that
game
up.
consoles, exactly.
Labubu,
Any
that online trend, Labubu has a huge counterfeit market with scalpers and the whole bit.
Yeah,
Like,
and, it goes from scalping and then to counterfeiting. Anything that could be made a profit of, you will find a scalper trying to sell it. And most of the time, it is, people that have the ability of bots to bypass online ordering queues and end up with 70% or more of the actual product before a person that was, a fan that was just looking to get one or whatever, is able to buy them. And it's it makes me upset that, there are people that are, taking the experience away from a fan. Like, a lot of these Pokemon cards, it's a children's card game. You know, kids love these Pokemon and they want to be able to collect them just like they are in the game and to be able to play them and share them and trade and do all this other stuff with them. They're not interested in the, high value of these cards.
they
They're
don't want the pristine collector's values that the scalpers steal them for. They're not like that. They're fans. They want to be like you said. They want to be able to trade their Pikachu IRL somehow with
Mhm.
somebody for their Electabuzz IRL somehow. It just and it grinds my gears. If I may microphone for a second,
Of course, please,
it
soapbox.
it it grinds my gears the lengths that people will go to try to effectively scam, which is what scalpers are at the end of the day. They are some form of scammer. The crazy lengths they'll go to scam a business or a fan or anybody just for a quick profit on a thing that they know either they want or they know that will be in high demand just generally. Like I saw a video online where some dude was scalping Lego sets, replacing and then getting the sizes of the bags that the Legos were in, filling it with that exact number of bags of dried pasta noodles because it replicated the sounds of Legos when you shook the box, meaning you would have to open the box to verify,
Mhm.
right? And you can't exactly open a box if you want a customer to return it unopened. I mean, you can and all that, but then you would have to reseal it. It wouldn't be. It would count as used, and all of those other potential pieces of rigmarole. But I saw online dudes scamming people out of Legos and then getting full refunds for the Lego sets by selling by returning these Lego sets filled with pasta noodles instead of the actual Lego pieces.
Yeah.
D-
That's
I
that's wild to me. This guy not only scammed the, corporation, which, fuck the corporation, yeah, whatever. Fuck those guys. But he would have all of these pieces, individual pieces, bagged up pieces of these Lego sets and be able to sell them off and not only scam the money, get the money back from the retailer that he bought them from, but also be able to get money in from the pieces that he sold
Yup,
online. So,
yup,
this guy was making, money, just off of this whole thing. Like, crime is crime, and you are robbing an experience away from someone. Like, these Lego sets, they could have been a gift for somebody at a birthday party or a Christmas present. Somebody
yeah,
who was really excited about it, and then they opened the box to find macaroni noodles instead of Lego pieces. What a
yeah,
horrible experience that would have been. And then you, as the parent, has to go back to the retailer and be like, "Hey, I opened this box that was sealed and there were no Legos inside. There were macaroni noodles." Now you have to go through the whole process of like, "I did not scam this person. I'm not trying to scam you. This is what happened." Right? And you're the one that's getting weird looks from other people, like, in line or whatever. You're the one
yeah,
that they are assuming did this crime, and you're just like, "No, this is what happened." You know? It makes you wanna, like, almost open everything and, capture yourself on video so that
yeah,
way you know that, you didn't do it and you have proof of it, which is such a wild concept to me. I have to videotape myself opening every single thing, that that I have because of scalpers and scammers, you know? It's wild. And the thing that really grinds my gears about it is now as a parent, I have to worry about that. But also, if I really want something now, something that brings me joy in this horrible, dark world, I have to worry about people buying it up and then reselling it for, exorbitant amount of money that I don't have. So I miss out on the experience of, putting a Lego set together with my kiddo or, putting a Lego set together for myself because I like putting Lego sets together. So, yeah, it's just, the whole experience just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And, you know, you come back and say, "Oh, well, uh, that's the fault of capitalism." Capitalism is what drives people to do these kind of things or whatever. And, "Oh, they're not hurting, fuck corporations. They're not hurting people, they're hurting corporations." No, they're hurting people by doing this because they're taking that experience away from fans. Like, people used to wait in line together for launches of things and be super excited about the thing that they were standing in line for midnight releases or
Yeah.
whatever, or
And
ticket,
finding
books.
actual communities,
Mhm,
as much as that word and I have a very difficult relationship, they would find communities at these concert ticketed events, standing in line to pick up the tickets or at the merch booth. They would find communities at these midnight game launches for a new console. They'd chat with each other and say, "Oh, what games are you going to get? What made you choose this system? What other systems do you have?" They would find connection there and make
mhm,
possibly lifelong or longtime friends. But because scalpers and scammers and thieves and generally other people who don't want the innocent fan to have nice things decide to get involved and step in, that's what's hurting the average person. Yeah, sticking it to corporate America, they need it stuck to them. What else is new? But
mhm,
should the enjoyment of people be sacrificed for a quick buck or a quick promo opportunity? Personally, I don't think so. Like, there should be a way, and as despite how great technology is, nobody could figure this out. There should be a way for those who want to enjoy the nice thing to be able to enjoy the nice thing without that kind of worry.
mhm.
Like, we've got enough going on in the world to be hyper vigilant about as it is. Why is the PlayStation 7, when that comes out in 40 years, soon to be one of those things? Why
40
is
years, Grant.
I don't know. I'm just making up numbers here, but you get the point. I had Mega Man in my head in the year 20XX for some reason, and I just applied that logic to the PlayStation. Oh, I know why. It's Kingdom Hearts. It's been how long since we got Kingdom Hearts 4 news? Feels like that's going to come out in 20XX. 40 years. That's probably why I said it. Anyway, um, all that
Grant's
time
never
away.
dropping Kingdom Hearts.
Look,
Never dropping Kingdom Hearts.
are you kidding me? Of course not. Like, as soon as Winnie the Pooh and Cloud Strife could be in the same game, I was sold. Anyway, um, like, all of this to go back and say, like, we shouldn't have to worry when the next console comes out if we can afford it and we want it to be able to get it without scalpers ruining the whole experience. We shouldn't have to worry about the new promotional Lego sets being replaced with macaroni noodles because they happen to be in the shape of Winnie the Pooh or the starter Pokemon. Like, I I don't understand why, like, making money, feeding families, I get it. That's their rationale. Doesn't make it not a crime, doesn't make it not hurting somebody. It just I don't understand why why scalping and scamming became such a viable option. And I don't like that it is. And I wish that it wasn't.
It's
But
because people will buy it. People with disposable income will buy it, and they will buy it at high prices. That's the thing. That's the reality of it. As long as people buy up these these scalped goods, they will continue to be scalped. Nothing makes me happier than seeing a scalper lose money on purchases that they've made. When I see somebody that has, like, 50 Switch 2s that, are no longer rare because Nintendo decided to pop out more, makes me so happy on the inside because they bought all of
Yeah,
these things expecting to make a profit, but then a company comes out and says, "Oh, hey, that was our limited release window for this, but guess what? We have more on the way." So now they have to race to sell their product before they can't make a profit anymore, you know?
yeah,
Um, but people will continue to buy these commodities because they are those commodities. They are fans of that brand. Like, uh shoes are a big thing. Like, people get limited edition drops of Nikes or Yeezys or whatever other shoes are out there on the market, and they have cons, like, for sneakerheads. People that go to cons and they sell shoes and buy shoes, um, and it's all to make money because someone is out there that is looking to buy a limited edition drop of something. Whether it is, cards or shoes, or not many experiences, are up there, but most of the things that I'm specifically referring to are items,
yeah,
commodities that you would go out of your way to find. Those limited edition drops of things like the Secret Lair, Magic the Gathering crossovers that they have. Right?
yeah.
Those are things that, they don't make a lot of, and because retailers don't make a lot of something and it becomes rare, that's when scalpers come in and decide that they want to take a chance and buy all of the product that they can up, only to sell it at a high markup. People will buy, and because people will buy, it will continue to happen, and
Yep,
retailers have gotten around it in certain ways. Um, you have, for example, the Nintendo Switch 2 launch. When Nintendo was officially selling their Nintendo Switch 2, you had to have a Nintendo account and it had to have been active for more than a few months or whatever.
yep,
So,
yeah,
when they released the news on this, it made it more difficult for scalpers to buy their Switches directly from Nintendo. For retailers, it was different. And retailers have their own kind of online portals or whatever programs
yeah.
to stop scalping, from happening, but
Or attempt to.
it still happens. Exactly. There are, like, just looking up the term scalper, I found YouTube videos on, you know, the 5 best ways to start scalping or make a profit or whatever. Like, there are
Ew,
people out there.
scalpers are
Exactly.
making tutorials now?
Yeah,
Disgusting.
it's a thing, brother. People are making
Ugh.
this up because it is a lucrative side hustle that people could do. Because they don't have to be present for it. They program a bot to do it for them, and then they go out and start selling their stuff at a high markup. That's the thing. When when you don't get the chance to buy something that becomes a hot commodity and you feel that FOMO hit hard and you try to buy anything that is, at retail value, you'll you'll say, "Oh, hey, this isn't that bad of a markup. It's like 10 bucks. I'll buy it." Right? But because you buy it, the next one is like, "Oh, this person's buying it for this much. You know what? I'm gonna increase my price just a little bit." So now that 10 becomes 20, that 20 becomes 50, and it keeps on going up if it keeps on getting bought.
Yeah.
Supply
Mm.
and demand, we were taught about it in high school, and, people twisted it to be this
Yeah.
horrible thing that takes the experience away from true fans.
In a very dark and twisted sense of the word, they got creative with it, but they decided to use that creative power for evil. And to quote Sonic the Hedgehog here, that's no good. Don't
Yeah.
know why they would do that, but
The
eh.
thing that's wild to me is how these Like, okay, so a fan buying a cart full of things or of items, like, when it comes to trading card games, it's a very low chance of you pulling an amazing card in a stack of packs or whatever,
Yeah.
right? It's you have very low odds of pulling anything great, that you can either A, use in a deck that you've built, or B, sell so that you can buy more packs in the future, right? It's very rare to get that. But when a fan buys, a box of cards or something, then that's them buying it because they want to either create a master set, or they want to, get a good card, or be
Yeah.
able to get a collectible card to save, to grade, whatever, right? But then you have the scalpers that go in and they buy up as much of the product as they can slash want to, right? Because they're not looking to open it, they're looking to resell it. They're looking not to find a high card. They don't care whatever is in there could be more valuable than what they purchased. They don't care about that. All they care is about that illusion of having something in it that is rare. So you'll see
Mhm.
these resellers go on to, websites like eBay or other, sites of that nature, and they'll say, "We weighed this product and it weighs this much." Because sometimes the cards that are really expensive, they weigh slightly more than the normal card. I'm talking about, milligrams difference between card sets. So if somebody weighs a pack and says it's this much weight, then that means that there might be a better likelihood that you get a really good card in there, and they will mark up the price of a single pack so that you buy that pack because you think that there might be something in it, when in reality, there might not be something in it. But it's just that markup, the illusion of what you might get, being greater than what you spend on it, because you might get a better card in there that could make up for what you paid for it. And that's not a super likely thing that happens either. It's just that concept of, "Hey, I'm buying this not because I'm a fan, I'm buying this so that I can make money off of it." And the thing that really disturbs me is the trend of just the worst of humanity that you could ever imagine. I read a story about someone who, and it could have been a fan, it could have been a scalper, I have no idea. If if I see someone with a literal Costco cart just full of Pokemon cards, that to me screams scalper,
Yeah.
right? This person, because I don't know if they were a scalper or not, I didn't, see, I wasn't there firsthand. All I saw was the aftermath, which was somebody had gotten hit by a car, right? As they were leaving the Costco with this, shopping cart full of
Full of
Pokemon
cards.
cards. So they go flying, the cart goes flying, all of the product scatters everywhere. Instead of checking on the person to see if they were okay, people rushed the Pokemon cards. The worst of humanity is showcased within that scalper community group.
Ugh.
And it's it makes me so sad and angry when I see humanity go to that level. And I don't know, man. Like, in the past, when I have purchased something, I have thought, maybe I can hold on to it and sell it, right?
Yeah.
But I've never went into something buying like 50 of an item and being like, I'm going to resell this for value or whatever.
Yeah. I'm the
It's
same way. It
it's fine if you hold on to an item because it might, you know, appreciate in value. But like hoarding content to sell immediately or whatever to make bucks, I don't know, man, that rubs me the wrong way on so many different levels. And the channel, because they have channels for this apparently, where you
Unfortunately,
see
that doesn't surprise me anymore.
the worst of humanity in these kind of situations, right? Where adults are fighting over children's card games, throwing fists, throwing elbows, just I don't know, man. Like it gives the whole community, like the whole Pokemon community a bad name when these people go out there and they're wilding out, doing crazy things like that. The channel that
Over
I saw
cards.
that right? Over a children's card game, um, it gives me the worst feeling, when I see humanity sink to that level. Um, and of course, there are other things that humanity has sunk to that have been horrible atrocities against humankind. Um, but that was for like, war and stuff, like the atrocities that are committed in war on the daily nowadays.
Yeah.
But then you have a children's card game that is inciting such violence and stupidity, and it just makes you ashamed to be even grouped in that, that same discussion.
To extrapolate on that, like, it's why can't people love the things or other people or hobbies or anything? Why can't people love what we love without some sort of ne'er do wells, I'm going to call them, acting in such deplorable ways? Like, it's like I said a little while ago. Why can't the average Joe Schmo who's a fan of something, who wants to go to an experience, why can't we have nice things? Why can't the Joe Schmo who just wants something special? Why are we not allowed to enjoy that something special without witnessing the worst of some of the worst of humanity, being ashamed for wanting to even enjoy the thing or having to be duped into it?
Mhm,
Like, for so much of the world now, not just collectibles, but for experiences, for literally for restaurants sometimes. Like, it's not the same type of scalping or whatever, but regular, like, the Joe Schmoes can't enjoy those things without all these other caveats. Without either
mhm,
having to know someone to get in, or knowing to make a reservation 6 months in advance, or knowing that you're going to have to deal with scalpers getting back to the material stuff. Like,
mhm.
why can't it just be a way where humans have a little bit more integrity and realize, oh, hey, I meant to have this thing if I follow this process. Let me follow this process. Why? Just because there is a system to game doesn't mean necessarily there are some systems that deserve to be gamed. Yes, I am not saying don't game any system. But why do people lack the judgment to understand what systems need to be gamed and what systems just need to be left alone? Like, I, it drives me crazy why people just don't want others to have nice things. And yes, simple root is they want the nice things, but why can't we all have the nice things? Why is it just got
Because
to be the scalper types?
corporations are making money. The end goal is making money. Greed is the reason that this is happening. Corporations don't give a shit about their product going out to their fans. As
No.
long as it leaves their shelves, they get the money that they are getting. They're not seeing the markup on it. They're not seeing that profit. They are getting the normal standard price that is already marked up, right, on their
Yep.
front. So they're making their money regardless of who buys the product. So I used to work for a very large retail chain that had a store on Fifth Avenue, a nationwide, right, store. And during one of the product's launches, they've had a lot of different launches in the past. Um, But during one of their newest product launches, there were a lot of resellers that were in line waiting during the coldest months of the year for this product. A lot of them were old Asian immigrants who didn't speak any English at all
Mm.
and were probably hired by, who knows who, the mob, the mafia, the triad, the yakuza, I don't know, whatever, some kind of criminal organization probably had hired them in order to stand in line and wait every day for this product to come in. Like I said, they spoke very little to no English. They would come in groups and line up all night. Whenever I saw these people, I would be so saddened because of the experience that they are having to go to these type of lengths to be able to make money. Like, these people weren't the end product people. They weren't the ones that were buying these things for themselves. They weren't even buying them to resell them themselves. They were buying them so that they can give this product over to whoever hired them in the first place. And it sucked because a lot of times I saw my grandma or my grandpa, in these old immigrants
Mm.
because, you know, they were being taken advantage of. I I had had enough of it, and I sent an email to my store manager, I sent an email to the whole store, basically, stating what I felt was horrible treatment of these people that were waiting outside. Like, this is wrong. We shouldn't have these people waiting outside in the cold. Is there a way that we can have them inside or maybe have them come in like, shifts? Like, hey, these people are waiting. Let's bring them in for a little bit to warm up and then they can go back outside or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a genius when it comes to, coming up with strategies or whatever.
Right.
But I wrote this message in good faith with the best of intentions because I felt bad for these people. And my ass was called into the HR office, and I was told that I did things incorrectly because I sent it out to the whole store, because I sent it out to the store manager, the store leader, instead of my direct manager, and that I was now basically on probation, and that I could be fired for what I did.
That was a fireable offense?
Yes, apparently so. But they told me that they would need to talk to like, HR would need to talk to corporate about what had happened, and that they would get back to me on it. So, I don't remember the exact time frame, but 3 to 6 months sounds about right, where I was worried that I was gonna lose the job that I had just gotten, months previous. I had the sword of Damocles literally hanging over my head with this new job that I thought I was really good at, and this company basically put me you know, on a list to see if I had any other things come up that could be fireable. So, because I cared about people, which this company said,
They did
which
too,
this
they
company
said.
said they did too. Exactly. It was part of their mantra for the longest time. Our soul is our people, right? That's what their mantra was, one of their mantras, one of their many mantras. And because of that, because I cared enough to say something about it, they scared me into putting me in a position where I was terrified I'd lose my job.
All because you
And
actually cared about people.
exactly. These resellers that were waiting in line, they whatever story that they had behind, nobody knew the story. For all I know, everything that I've said to this point is just hearsay, and, just fantasy. All I know is that when I went outside to check on the queue because they kept people, uh, because this was a 24-hour store, they kept us employees, some of us would have shifts outside to make sure that people were doing okay in the queue. Not doing okay, but I guess keeping they would call us, you know, queue leads or whatever. So we would go out and we would look and make sure that nobody was skipping the queue or cutting or whatever. We would have our shifts out there to make sure that, you know, people were following the rules to be in the queue or whatever. Because I saw poor, huddled masses and was concerned about them and thought that we as a company could do better, and thought that if I wrote an open letter to everybody, that we could all as a unit come up with a better way to make sure that these people were okay. Because of that, I was threatened with losing my job. And these corporations, they don't care about people. They don't care about them. All that they care about is lining up their fat fucking wallets. They don't care who the end user is. And I hope that there are other companies out there that truly believe that and do right by their customers.
It
But it's
really is just
really hard.
it really is just profit driven, like you said.
It is. It is. Did you know that there were also people, not these people that were buying product, but did you know that there were also people that were waiting in line and selling their spot in line as well?
That's insane. That's insane.
This product, when it launched, was really, really hot, super hot. And anybody that could be caught buying a product, you would see them on the news. Because there were news crews almost every day that were checking in on this shop and seeing what the big hubbub was about. So when we technically, had the day crew come in for their shifts, the night crew would be out clapping and smiling for the cameras for the people that were in line first, because they got to go downstairs, they got to buy their product, they got to come out with big ovations and cameras and lights on them as they came out being the first person to own said product. That made headlines.
Yeah. It's about the headlines and it's about the pocket lines. It's the profit lines. It's all about making sure you exceed the lines you put down for yourself, which or the corporations did, which ugh, drives me. It's gotten me so flustered that I can hardly words.
That's what it is. Greed will always be the driving force behind why these scalpers are out there. It's not just the corporate greed because the corporations don't care who they sell their product to. They'll sell it to whoever, and once it's sold, they don't care what happens to it, unless it's part of some lawsuit where somebody gets hurt or damaged by it.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm sorry to bring you down with all of this, Grant.
Not every episode can be bright and chipper and all that, but we had to get this off our chests. It's geek culture. It hits geek culture among the hardest, if not the hardest, where scalping happens. So not every episode can be one where I crack jokes.
They don't give a flying fuck, regardless of who gets the product. I'd like to think that there are other organizations out there that do give a flying fuck, that want the end user experience to be a great one and memorable, that want that Nintendo 64 kid to be the one that is, saying, "Look at how happy this kid is because he's got the product." To be that little baby Grant holding his Sonic the Hedgehog plushie and holding up his Sega Genesis.
That's the way it needs to be. Uh,
That's the way I wish it were too, my friend, but with the way things are, man, very limited very limited amounts of people will have that same kind of experience because of the scalpers, because of the markup, and because we want our kids to be happy, or we want to be happy, we will buy those things, even at the
We
markup.
we either have to play the game or miss our chance. And that's my god, that's depressing.
Yeah,
Like it's depending on the context, that could be, a much more uplifting message. But here, that's just depressing.
so sorry to depress you, dear viewer/listener, but,
We had to get this off our chests. We did.
yes,
And
yes.
as two nerdy um millennials, as two nerdy millennials who grew up with video games, who grew up with a lot of the trading card games as they were starting out, a lot of the popular ones, this meant a lot to us. And we wanted to have some of the experiences we were deprived of because of scalpers. Donut, you and the kiddo want to have some of these experiences as the kiddo gets older and not want to
Mhm.
have to worry about scalpers. I will too. Should kids enter my future? It's it just I don't know that there's even really a call to action here because it's like you said, so long as there are these folks who will buy the scalped prices, the scalpers will continue to exist. If the scalpers continue to exist, the cycle repeats into infinity. It's I don't know how to change the system, but there needs to be some sort of systemic change to like discourage scalpers to the point of them saying what's the point?
There needs to be more regulation in the market. There needs to be more release of product.
Yeah,
Limited time, limited edition drops need to be a thing that doesn't occur, or if it does occur, it needs to be heavily moderated so that
right.
the end user gets what they are looking for.
Right. And I think we touched on something similar for video games in a previous episode, but like the approach they're taking now for like limited time console exclusivity, in that there is the limited time feel of it with like how Final Fantasy VII Remake did its PS5 exclusive for the first year. But then the other kids will get to play. And we're
Mhm.
upfront about it. So make
Mm.
your choice. It's like, and that's something that the producer of the product already has control over and has stated up front. So it at least provides other ways for people to have the experience, even if it's not right up front. And
Mhm,
that those
mhm.
folks will still get their right up front experience, knowing that it's their time for it, if you get what
Yep.
I mean.
Mhm, mhm.
It's just like I thought I had words, but they just boil down to why do people have to people that way? Why? I don't like the surface level reasons, the corporate greed. I get it. I just, on a fundamental level, why does it have to be that way? That's where the I don't get it comes from.
Yeah,
And I wish I did, but nothing. My brain has nothing. And it sucks.
yeah. Sorry to be such a downer of an episode for you, Grant.
It just look, we have to cover some of these things some of the time. We're still doing the banter. not every episode can be one where I make off the cuff jokes. Not
Mhm.
every one. So,
Yep.
eh, that's just my thoughts on the whole thing. It's just to paraphrase Little Karibo, I have so many questions, and all of them are why. But them's be my thoughts. Uh, Donut, why don't you take it? Why don't you take us away? I've got nothing else. I've got nothing else. Why don't you take us away?
Thank you so much for joining us on this very true rant, just about what we really dislike about some of our fandoms. All of our fandoms, honestly, is the fact that scalping exists and it's a thing and it will continue to be a thing until corporate greed is non existent and people are able to uh, buy their things um, without having to pay insane markups for them.
And when
So
is that gonna happen?
we'll
He
find out
quips
next time.
sarcastically.
We'll find out next time on the next episode of Banter Brothers Z. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, that's not actually what's going to happen. But yeah, we hope that you enjoyed our rant this episode. Please let us know if you've had any horrible experiences due to scalpers out there in the comments. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcasting source, do engage with us on social media concerning this episode or anything else. Otherwise, I have been Super Banter Brother Senor Donut, and with me, as always, is Super Banter Brother.
Grant Patrizio, the insanely depressed,
And we hope to see you next time when we talk about the next thing,
which is
whatever
something
that may be.
hopefully a lot more lighthearted than this. Good night, everybody.
Take it easy.